Hello, welcome to Global Nationalism. I am a global nationalist. I support nationalism in my country, India, and in all countries around the globe. Today's topic is Judaism, is Zionism and Hindutva, and how both ideologies are similar and different from each other. I'm talking about this because of the recent conflict between Israel and Palestine and the outpouring of support from Indian Hindus, and also the sympathy that the Indian government has given to Israel for the terrorist attack it suffered. And yeah, so let's get started. Zionism and Hindutva. What is Zionism? The name Zionism comes from the hill Zion in Jerusalem, which was conquered by King David and holds a special place in the Jewish religion. Uh, Basically, Zionism proclaims that Jews, as a religious and racial people, have a right to live in their own nation, and that nation shall be called Israel. They claim this right because, according to their holy book, the Talmud, and the Bible, Jews have lived in Israel for thousands of years, and it is their original homeland. And 2,000 years ago or so, they were expelled from the land, and they believe that they have a right to return. And yeah, so they think that they have a right to return to what was their homeland. The reason why they say that they need a homeland is because Jews were persecuted in Europe and in the Middle East. This is a fact. Anti-Semitism was prevalent in Europe and in the Middle East for many centuries. It is not something that only happened in the Holocaust, but was a prevalent fact of European society with negative stereotypes of Jews and discrimination against them, and oftentimes there was violence against them. Therefore, they believed that they had to be safe and secure, and for that, they needed their own nation. Who founded Zionism? Theodore Herzl. He lived in the 19th century, the late 19th century. He became the president of the Congress of Zionism. He believed the Jews would always be persecuted, and he wanted a Jewish state in Palestine. The Congress of Zionism is still a existing organization. It is the premier organization promoting and supporting Zionism as an ideology, and it supported the establishment of Israel. It worked with the British government in Palestine to establish a place for Jews to live. During the 1920s and 30s, Jews immigrated from Europe into Palestine, and in he was a president of this Congress for a few years until he died in 1910. He believed that the Jews would always be persecuted. He said this because uh, Jews at that time were in conflict of whether they should assimilate to their home countries and fear losing their own cultural identity, or if they should maintain their cultural identity and risk discrimination. And he was the one who said that the Jewish state should be in Palestine, although he was originally looking into other areas such as Africa and even Argentina. He settled on Palestine because it was the homeland, a true homeland of the Jewish people. What is Hindutva? Hindutva means Hinduness, Hindu culture. This is how it is different from Hinduism, which is the Hindu religion. Hindutva includes the Hindu religion, but also the culture. So here it includes the Hindu food, Hindu festivals, and Hindu clothing. And yeah, so what does Hindutva, the ideology, promote? It says that Hindus should have a nation of their own, Bharat, and that this nation, basically, the Hindu nation is also referred to as Hindu Rashtra, and so that the India's government should be have a state religion of Hinduism and Sanatana Dharma. So yeah, I think this is, and yeah, by Hinduism they not only included specifically Hindu religion, but also other native religions in India, such as Buddhism, Sikhism, Jainism, and the animistic faiths of the tribal people in India. It was basically an aim to unite, politically unite the dharmic people. Hindus have lost their original territory and need to preserve India. This is what is known as Akhand Bharat, where which is the original spread of the Indian people, the Hindu people, where Hindus used to live near Afghanistan slash Persia and went until Myanmar and Burma and Thailand and Sri Lanka. And now Hindus have lost almost all of this territory, especially with partition and due to Islamic invasions from the northwest. And Sri Lanka is an independent country. So, yeah, basically, Hindutva says that whatever territory India has needs to be preserved, and it can only be done so if Hindus form a nation state. Who founded Hindutva? Vinayak Damodar Savarkar is the man who founded Hindutva. While the term wasn't coined by him, the ideology was in his book, very blandly called as Hindutva. In that book, he explains that the what the Hindutva ideology is, that how it will help Hindus, and why it is necessary for the Hindu people to thrive and survive. He believed that he believed only a Hindu nation could protect Hindus from Christians and Muslims. This is because Christians and Muslims he viewed were communities who had dual loyalties to both their own home country and to the holy land of their religion, which is in the Middle East. And so he felt that their patriotism would always be in question. Closing remarks. I am a supporter of Hindutva, which is what I've said in previous videos on this channel. And I have given my perspective on the Israel Palestine conflict. In You'll see links to both videos on the screen. I basically feel that Hindutva and Zionism are very similar to each other, but also different. The similarities are that both Hindutva and Zionism are based on creating a homeland for a religious people, and that they believe that the people should be politically united as a nation state. And the differences are that one is an attempt to return people to a homeland that they lost, that was now the lived in by other people, and the other is to preserve the territory that a group of people have, which is Hindutva, and the former is Zionism. Now, that is a main difference, and also the differences are about how they would interpret democracy, human rights. Zionism supports the liberal Zionism, the dominant form of Zionism. It believes in enlightenment values of human rights, free speech, and freedom of religion. But Hindutva is differs. Hindutva proponents support enlightenment values, some support Hindu traditional values. So it's hard to know how uh, 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 what exactly a Hindu nation would look like. And I'm sympathetic to both. I support both these ideologies. However, I do not think that people who are against Hindutva and Zionism are automatically anti-Hindu or anti-Jew. There's a difference between criticizing political ideologies and the religions that those political ideologies are based off of. So yeah, you'll never see me on this channels pointing my finger and saying that if you criticize Hindutva or Zionism that you are anti-Hindu or anti-Semitic. I think that that's completely incorrect way of looking at criticism. And yeah, I want Israel to remain a Jewish nation. Now, what its borders should be is not something I have read into research, and so I'm not going to talk about that. But I am partial towards a two-state solution. I do think the Palestinians who did live in Palestine before Israel was formed must still have should have some territory for themselves, and I don't want Israel to take all of it. And for Hindutva, I want India to be a Hindu nation, a dharmic nation for all dharmic faiths, where people from all these religions will live equally. And uh, Israel does not discriminate against any minority. And this was a major thing that Theodore Hertz proposed, which was that minorities must be respected, their rights must be protected, and Hindutva also doesn't call for any violence against Christians and Muslims, but neither does it say that they should be enslaved or anything. But whether they should be fully equal citizens to people of native faiths within India is debated and has not come to a full conclusion. Although originally, now it's settled that I think people have agreed that they will be equal citizens like India, like Hindus. But I don't know if a Hindu nation would ever have a non-Hindu prime minister, for example. So yeah, I'm not sure how much protection the rights of religious minorities in a Hindu state would be given. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Please share your thoughts in the comment section. If you want to see other videos about Indian nationalism and current events, click here. If you want to see my previous video, click here. If you want to see the sources I use for this video, click the links in the description below. Thank you for watching. Vande Mataram.